Lecture 3, Why Not Every Shortcoming is Worth Correcting, Part 2. 2. Call a timeout and ask for foreign aid. However, not all situations can be solved by avoiding. What should a CEO do when he can't push it onto policies and the CFO? I often hear the answer is to endure. This is another mistake that executives and CEOs make. They overestimate their self-control or underestimate the power of emotions. It's like telling a child who is afraid of dogs not to run when they see a dog, or it will bite them. Is this sentence useful? No. They understand it, but they can't do it. In the business environment, the real problem for this CEO is not how to make him not afraid of conflict, but how to not compromise when facing the pressure brought by conflict. Our brain is divided into two parts. One is the emotional brain, which you can imagine as a 20-year-old young person with energy but no brain. The other is the rational brain, which is like an 80-year-old wise old person who is good at thinking but has no energy. I know what to do, but I can't do it. At this time, you are controlled by the emotional brain. You need to do two things, which I call the standby plan. First, call for a timeout and get out of the disadvantage. Second, seek outside help. Let's talk about the first step, call for a timeout. In this example, when the CEO realizes that he is under high pressure, he should say, "I need time and will reply to you later." No matter what the other party says, he only repeats this sentence to get out of the situation. The second step, seeking outside help, is to find a support system. This CEO's support system is me, and the backup system is his wife. After the other party leaves, he will immediately contact me or his wife, and we will help him sort out his thoughts and discuss the correct method. He can't win by himself, but with outside help, it's much better. This is the two-step action plan I developed for him. At first, he was very disdainful because it sounded too simple. But later he told me, every time I finish a call, it's like waking up from a hangover, and I'm glad I didn't do anything stupid. It's easy for you, but it's a lifesaver for me. This seemingly superficial approach may actually bring about fundamental changes. Although the CEO still dislikes conflict, he has handled situations where others have tried to make exceptions very well. Each victory brings him the joy of growth, and refusing to make exceptions has become second nature to him. Building on this foundation, I will help him face larger conflicts using the same method but with different approaches. Gradually, he began to realize that conflict is not as frightening as he once thought. Haven't we always said that the biggest advantage has the biggest weakness, and vice versa? The bright side of the fear of conflict was ignited after we broke the CEO's fear. His desire for peace has made him a very skilled conflict resolver. Many people think that change must start from the mind to behavior, but this method allows change to start from behavior to mind. Once you taste the sweetness, it becomes much easier to change. The key is that this plan must be simple and easy enough for even a fool to execute, as this minimizes consumption and maximizes the chances of success. I will discuss similar topics in future courses. 3. Take advantage of the trend and turn waste into treasure. Earlier, we talked about avoiding problems and making use of support systems. Now, let's look at a third method. As mentioned earlier, traits are double-edged swords, and the biggest weakness can be turned into the biggest advantage. Therefore, the third method is to seize the opportunity and turn waste into treasure. Let me explain this with another example. I once coached a CEO who tended to dwell on negative experiences from the past, which made him easily become negative and doubt his abilities. I'm sure you've experienced this feeling before. How can we help him change? Telling him to look forward positively is useless. First, I helped him understand himself and told him that learning from the past is his way of thinking and the reason for his success. Then, I helped him separate the problem and asked, looking back and focusing on negative experiences, which one is your trait? His answer was firm, of course, looking back. I continued, okay, how can you better use this trait of looking back to help you get out of negative emotions? He suddenly realized, yes. I can look back at past successful experiences and learn from them. Why didn't I think of that before? By doing so, he naturally overcame negative emotions. Therefore, we don't need to change his traits, we just need to help him seize the opportunity and better utilize his own traits, and the problem will be solved. Have you noticed that this lecture is actually applying the concept we mentioned in the previous lecture? Becoming a manager starts with managing yourself. We can only change the world by changing ourselves. When you know how to manage yourself, your perspective on your own shortcomings will be different, and you will naturally know how to avoid harming the team.